What is it about Jesus that stirs your imagination?
Because Jesus was always looking for people in a bad story, helping them write a better one. Zacchaeus, the women at the well, the rich young ruler. So he was always creating the space for people to be transformed, for the people to encounter the kingdom of God and make better choice and change the course. So Jesus is just like this perfect example for everyday life. As I grew up in a poor of the poor community, my parents were pastors, so meaning they didn't get paid, and I grew up being I grew up hating poverty and all that comes with it. I didn't want anything to do with it. And I would grow up being angry at God that He wasn't interested in our livelihood, on how we lived, because He was only interested about heaven. And it was good news if He would come and get us to go to heaven, but He wasn't coming, so it ceased to be good news until I realized that Jesus wasn't like that. Jesus was more for the poor, not necessarily to stay that way, but to start writing a better story by choices they make, by believing in them, by helping them overcome the challenges of life. So that's what we called for, and that's why we gather people around the Amahoro table, and that's why we encourage one another, and that's why we try to find language or theology for what we are doing in our communities.
What does that have to do with salvation?
Okay. Well, that is salvation. That is, salvation is a change. It's a change of direction. It's a change of who we used to be to who we are, and that's what about the story. Deciding to write another story, a better story, a kingdom story in our life, and that's the salvation that Jesus spoke about. It's about what if you abandon your old ways and choose these other ways that is focused, centered on Jesus and His kingdom. And that's the salvation, that's the transformational space that we create. So people will find a space where in the beginning for their new story, their new journey, their new direction in life. And this is not only for themselves. We are not saved for ourselves. And we live in a much bigger story, bigger than just our personal salvation or personal paycheck or personal career. We are trying to write a much bigger, larger story. It's not about my salvation. It's about our salvation. It's about the community transformation. So you're writing a better story. For me, is writing a story for my community, for my country, for my continent. Following Jesus is making the world a better place. And the world starts with my household, my community, my country, my city, my continent. That's how it works. And the more we follow Him, the better place we are in. It's about bringing God's kingdom on earth as it is in heaven.